Yes, time to talk about DSA.
So are you ready?
Always ready. Let's go.
Hi everybody, my name is Ansel, and I'd like to welcome you. I'd like to welcome you beautiful people, you beautiful souls on this ride. We're going somewhere. Some of y'all been here before. Some of y'all never been here before. And I hope this ain't no short trip. I hope you plan to stay here forever. Forever. Enjoy. Follow me.
And I would say the success of DSA that we all see today has actually been a collaborative effort. So the story of DSA, just to go down the memory lane a little bit. So it was 2021, I had a conversation with one of my friends. His name is Oyekomi. So we went to Ajax Pickering. It's about 25 minutes from Oshawa, to play soccer with some of the guys over there, about 2 weeks. And one day we were just talking, and I told him that, guess what, I think we can actually do this for Oshawa too, because we have a lot of people that moved to Oshawa. And so I'm like, okay, let's see if we can get guys to come out. At least we should be able to have like 5 aside on Saturdays. So that was the initial intention, right? And so I created the group. We started sending the invite out for people to join. And July 2nd, 2021, that was when we created the group. And July 3rd, which was a Saturday, the following Saturday, that was when we had our first game. And it was about 6 of us. So we had 4 guys and 2 kids. So those kids were John, we call him Effie. They were his kids. So we used them as goalkeeper for our first game.
Long story. I think we started out, and it will be funny because a lot of people have picked our slogan now. We're here to sweat, and we joke about it now that, oh, this more than sweat already. But actually, at the beginning, the reason why we started this was that we just literally wanted to sweat, because there have been a lot of people that have, maybe they've played a very long time, 10 years, 15 years, and the idea was to get a couple of guys together. Let's play, let's sweat. It was a way for us to keep fit, right? So it started out as us just wanting to get together and play soccer, and we found out that it went beyond just playing soccer. It was an avenue. It was an escape, for a lot of people. Just having that 3 hours, 2 hours on Saturday morning, coming together, jogging, playing, laughing, bantering, abusing each other, and having fun. So that was how it started, and it was something we're always looking forward to, right? And started with 3, 4 people. I remember the very first day we started, somebody fainted. Was it the first day? Maybe the first day or the second week, eBay fainted, and we had to call an ambulance. So it was something that started on a very, very lovely note. It was scary for those that were there then. We called the ambulance, but it was fine. It was mostly maybe because he was an old man, or because he has played. Last time he played was like 100 years ago. But it was fun, and that was how it started. And people started looking forward to coming together. It became my Saturday ritual, right? Like they know in the house, DSA, it's not the first in the house, but it's a close second, to everything I do. And so that was how it started. 2021, that was, I think, shortly after COVID or something. So it was really a big escape for a lot of us, especially after COVID. We wanted to come out and have fun and play, and then it started like play, and then it has grown into this very big organization right now.
Interesting. So, couple of things. So, I would consider three key factors. So, first one would be football, or if you want to call it soccer, but I still prefer to call it football. So, I am a big fan of the sport, so I like to play the sport. And the second thing is fitness. The strive to keep fit, because I spend most of my time just sitting down working, and I don't exercise much. I don't go to the gym, so there's that desire to use football as an avenue to maintain some fitness. And thirdly, community, to get close to people, and especially the Nigerian community, because there's a lot of value in getting close to the Nigerian community, to folks that look like you, think like you, or appear to be in the same field as you. So, and I'm a big proponent of networking. So I've always, everywhere I've stayed, I've always tried to seek Nigerians within different professional fields. So those are the three key factors for me that drove me to join DSA.
So I moved to Canada from Nigeria in 2022, late 2022. And before I moved to Canada, I was actively playing football or soccer back in Nigeria. And one of the biggest problems, or one of the biggest concerns I had was, I was always asking myself that, how would I continue to play soccer if I moved to Canada? Because it's like a huge part of me, like a huge part of my person. But thankfully, I have a brother who's already in Canada here, and thankfully he lives in Oshawa, and I was planning to move to Oshawa as well. So when we landed in Canada, we were just having a conversation one day, and then he told me that there is a league, like a men's league here, and it's a lot of Nigerians, and you can meet people, and someone telling me that my response to that was so much excitement, because that was a big worry, or a big concern that I had before I moved to Canada. So that got solved, and essentially that was how I joined DSA.
For me, football is a thing, and for most of us in the community right now. So everywhere I go, everywhere I find myself, I'm always interested in playing soccer or watching soccer. More importantly, I've played soccer almost all my life, right? More as a hobby, because of course I'm not a professional. So when I moved to the Durham region, I found out a couple of guys used to gather every Saturday morning, and I used to drive 40 minutes one way. So that's approximately 35 to 40 minutes, making it 70 to 80 minutes every Saturday morning just to go play soccer. And it kind of started growing on me, because it now became more than just the football. Started developing relationships, a network of people with similar interests in various ways of life, and that was it for me. Interestingly, there are other folks who do the same right about now. We have guys from across the GTA, as far as Toronto, Scarborough, and they all come around just to be a part of this. I would say the football, the soccer, is the underlying factor, but the community is the bigger picture, and that, for me, is the inspiration, and that's why I will do it over and over again.
Well, back home, I used to play a lot of soccer. I played at university level. I played at dormitory level. And when I came to Canada, I think I was a bit bored. Sometimes you do your 9 to 5, and you still want to have some form of extracurricular activities. I used to jog, but it's not a team sport. It's more of an individual thing. So when I joined a particular WhatsApp group, as a Canadian WhatsApp group, the information came out that there was a bunch of guys that were just gathering to play soccer. I was like, okay, nice. Let me just join in and see what's happening there. But after the first day I went there, I noticed that there was a sense of direction, for the bunch of people I met there. People were more focused on trying to get to meet each other, trying to, kind of like socialize, even more, even beyond soccer. So I think that sense of community gave me that drive to say, you know what, I think I belong here, and so far so good, it has been great.
And the first guy that actually arrived at the venue, I'm saying this so that people can understand some things about the history of DSA. And the first guy that actually got to the venue of our first game, his name is Quest Body. So, and since that time, DSA has been growing, right? So we were lucky to have guys with great ideas, joining the group, and through a collaborative effort where we've been able to move DSA to greater heights, right? Right now we have about almost 400 people in the group, and so it has evolved from just being a soccer or recreation group to a family and brotherhood, right? So we've extended it to our family members, our spouses. Now many of them are friends, our kids, they are friends with one another. So DSA has actually grown to become a very big family, and we've been able to achieve that because people have put in the effort, they put in the work to ensure that that camaraderie it continues to grow in DSA.
So I think one of the good things about DSA is we try as much as possible to create a good product, to make it look organized, to make it look welcoming, to make it look fun for people. So football is the main ingredient. Football is the product itself. So that's what actually draws people in. And then when they come in, they see the other things. They see the organization. They see people. They see real people, and it's very, very organic. And then because it's so organized and because it's so structured, people see a lot of value in that, and they see that it's something that they can actually look forward to, because it's not fake, it's real people. A lot of Nigerians, a lot of banter, a lot of fun. There's a lot of family presence as well, because a significant chunk of DSA members are family men, and they've been able to incorporate their families into the DSA life with our parties, and bringing their kids to our sporting centers when we are playing every Saturdays. So all of those factors create a very good package that will motivate people on a weekly basis.
Over time, we've seen that, with a bit of organization, there are a lot of opportunities to develop not just the community, but give a whole lot of opportunities to people that might want to come together and identify with DSA. So where are we going? We have a lot of plans. We have a lot of things we want to do. We are still keeping it simple, which is first and foremost an avenue for us to come together, mostly Saturday mornings. But we're doing a whole lot of things beyond that now. We do friendly matches. I remember the last friendly match that we had in Brampton. We had to rent a big bus that was like party setting, and we had a lot of all those memories of, at least for those that played soccer in either secondary school or university, all those bantering and singing and all those lovely arrow songs, and it was really very lovely. So I mean, these are some of the things that we've seen DSA evolving into, where people are actually looking at this like an organization where they can interact, where they can identify with and do a whole lot of things. Because what we've done here is not just creating a platform where people play soccer. It's a platform where people are now engaging each other in a whole lot of other things, because you need to create trust, right? You need to create trust, and that platform, it creates that trust. For instance, there are people that can walk up to now, spring business ideas, right? There are people who can walk up to and put things together because there's already a platform for that trust that has been created. And so that is where DSA is going. One of the things that we're looking forward to is a situation where, many years down the line, we have some of our kids. And for those that have noticed, the kids are unofficially organizing themselves, because for outdoor games, you see all the kids, as we're having ours on the main field, they're on one side, having their games and having fun and knowing each other. Unconsciously, what we're creating is putting our kids together, getting them to know themselves. That is how we develop the community. That is how we develop, especially this community that is majorly Nigerian, because you have to start from somewhere. Your kids see that you're coming together to have fun. They start doing the same thing. They start engaging, and a whole lot of things that can happen. This can turn into a venture that will be very, very good for our community, but Durham or Ontario community at large.
All right, so when I joined DSA and now, I think that the community has grown in terms of the numbers. It has, that community sense that makes people who are members to also tell about the club to other people, to bring them into the fold, I think is one thing that's great. In terms of taking that extra effort to be like a family organization where we have the Family Games Day, I think that's something that may have started in 2022, whereby not just the men playing soccer on a Saturday, we also made avenues for the kids, for wives also to get involved, to see their husbands play, to see what these men spend their Saturday mornings doing when they hurriedly get out of the house and don't come back till midday. So that sort of gave a sense of family, that it wasn't just about the men, but about building a community. And Christmas activities, even though it's not the greatest of greatest events, but it gives that family opportunity to come together during the holiday season to spend time away from the football field. So that sort of said to me that DSA wasn't just about getting healthy men, but also about getting healthy families.
I will start with the first family game day that we had in 2022. So in 2022, we came together and we just like, we need to extend this to our families. And we came up with the idea of Family Game Day. Basically, Family Game Day is a day that we play soccer to entertain our families and friends, and we give them refreshments. So the first Family Game Day in 2022, it was a proud moment for me because I was happy to see, our families coming together, building relationship, our spouses connecting, kids connecting. It was a great moment for me because then I realized that DSA is now more than just a soccer group. It's a family, right? And what we are trying to achieve is we have a community, right? In Canada here, and with DSA, I would say that we've been able to achieve that. Then another proud moment is when we all came together that we needed to start giving back to the community, right? And the people started coming up with the ideas. So the first thing that we did was to participate in the mayor's cleanup. That's the mayor of Durham cleanup exercise. That day, I was really happy because even the mayor, when we got there and he saw the number of players that came, he was really surprised. DSA was well represented. We had about 30 or 40 players that came out for that exercise. We took pictures with the mayor, and the mayor was really impressed that we could come together as guys within the community to form something like this, and we could also have like an understanding, an agreement that we needed to start giving back to the community, to have undertaken such an exercise to participate in that mayor cleanup. So it was a great moment for me, and I would say other moments are the other events that we've been having. End of the year party where you see families coming together, having fun. Our kids will give them gifts, right? And they are all happy. We are all one big family, and it's always a joyous moment for us.
I think two definitely stand out. And the first one was there was this I don't know what to call it now. There was this community service that we had, like I think sometimes this year, where we all came together to like clean up a part of the city of Oshawa, and the mayor of Oshawa was also around at the time. And I mentioned this because there were two things that stood out for me. One was the fact that when we were like busy doing the cleaning, there were people like driving by, and then they were just like being thankful for just like thanking everyone, like every one of us cleaning, like, oh, thank you guys for doing this, like they really appreciated what we were doing. And the second thing at that event that was also like very notable for me was that DSA as a group or as a community actually had like the highest number of representatives, that because there were different groups that came for that. I don't know if event is the right word now, but there were different groups that came together for that purpose. DSA actually had like the highest number of people, and in my head I was just thinking to myself that this is not even up to 1/10 of what we have in this community. So like imagine what happens if we have like half or even a quarter of the entire group. So those two things like stood out for me, and it was really like a very, at that moment I was really proud to be a member of this group.
As a pioneer member of the club, I would say that the first major challenge for us was when we realized that DSA group, soccer group, is now more than just a soccer group, because the numbers were just increasing. So it was important for us to quickly come up with rules that will guide us and ensure that we maintain discipline. And it was a challenge for us to come up with something like that, because we also understand that whatever rules that we are coming up with has to be something that is accepted by everyone. So that was our first major challenge. Then the second one, I would say some of the times that we've had injuries, and especially the first set of injuries that we had, and it was difficult for us to understand how to navigate that initially, because like I said, it was just guys coming together to play soccer, and suddenly we realized that one of us is having an injury, and that we actually needed to even call 911 to come and take the person to the hospital. So it was a big challenge for us.
I think that was the penultimate season, or that's the season before the last outdoor season that we had. It was the second game. I had the ball, just more like in the last minute of the game. I wanted to make a turn, and I just realized that I had turned so badly, and I literally lost my ankle. I could feel it, like that disconnect and the snapping back, and I just went down straight. In that moment, honestly, it's been a while I cried, but I cried literally, because I could just feel like I was really helpless, and I couldn't move my leg in the moment. And I think we have also grown as a family in DSA to the point that I also didn't have to go through the stress of having to walk off the pitch, and it wasn't so bad that we had to call emergency service or 911. But I was the first one to be stretched out on a proper stretcher in DSA. I recall, we just literally had a stretcher, and then the medic team had to put me on a stretcher and get me out. Immediately we got to a safe space. The team looked at it and they asked me a few questions, and I said yes, I could still feel certain things, and I wasn't feeling too much pain, but I was really also in great pain. But what I noticed immediately was that there was a lot of swelling, which also doesn't look too normal if it was just more like an ankle twist. But I felt some very sharp pain just around the upper part of my leg, and that pain wasn't reducing, it was increasing, and the swelling was also a bit more rapid at this time. So I had to then go straight to the emergency room, and thankfully for the support we always have in DSA, the brotherhood is always there. So I had two people follow me, and stayed with me all through, and I had some assessment, and I was supported. They had to put a cast almost immediately for me to actually get the pain subside and actually pack the leg so well. I was given an appointment to go to, I think, the fracture clinic the following day, and also and the treatment proceeded from there. But
I would say one of the most challenging times of this DSA story so far was on June the 3rd, 2023, at about 12:30 exactly p.m. We had a friendly match with, we call them the Cameroonian community, and during the match I was trying to stretch to block a shot, and I found myself on the floor, and I was wondering, okay, I really have injuries, so let me just get back up and just continue the game. I realized that I couldn't get up, and I was wondering what's going on here. I tried again, and I realized that I couldn't get up truly, so I had to signal to the bench that, you know what, I think I must have snapped something here. So they asked me, could I stand up, could I find my way up, and I said, you know what, no, I couldn't get up. I knew that that was going to be a long day, because I remember before I left home, my wife told me, I just finished playing in the morning, why do you want to go and play again in the afternoon? I was like, don't worry yourself, I won't get injured, it's just a friendly game. I said, okay, no worries, make sure you don't get injured. And for me to now find myself in that situation whereby I actually needed an ambulance, I couldn't get up. So a couple of friends came around, I think one of them was a doctor, tied ice around my leg, they all lifted me to the sidelines, and we had to call an ambulance. I was like, man, the last time they called an ambulance was for a different colleague of ours, and now it's my turn. And I was like, oh Christ. So when the ambulance came, they asked me if I could get up. I said no. It was a bit of a hilly, kind of like a slopey part of the pitch, so they had to carry me onto the ambulance. So I remember I was given some painkillers, and I had to go to the emergency section of the hospital. The good thing was I was told by the doctors or the first responders that there were number of people that were waiting for attention were not a lot, and I was pretty lucky, because normally I would have waited for probably 3 to 4 hours. So I got there, probably waited for about 30 minutes, did the scan, and they pretty much told me what I didn't want to hear. I was told that I broke my ankle.
All right, so my injury happened exactly, I believe it was March 2nd, 2024. This was exactly a month after I just had my second son. I recall having walked late into the night the Friday before, going back home maybe around 2 a.m. By 7 I had a game, and I said, you know what, let's go play this game. It was about 25 minutes into the game, just trying to take the ball from a corner kick, and somehow I stumbled and just had my femur pop, which is the longest bone in the body. In that moment on the floor, seeing my leg curved, just like you see in things like the UFC fights, I almost thought, if this was Nigeria, I'd probably be thinking about getting my legs amputated. So that was the major concern for me, is to say, would I be able to walk? In going through the process of waiting for 911 to call, seemed like the longest, I'll say 20 to 30 minutes for them to show up. Seeing from that, me who had driven myself to the field on the day, having to be put in a cast to get on the ambulance, all I remember in that moment is, okay, I can still move, I can still feel my toes, I can still feel my feet. The question I asked immediately I got into the ambulance was, is this fixable? What's going to happen? Would I be able to walk again? And I remember being assured by the first responder on the ride to the hospital that yes, this is fixable ultimately. So that sort of gave me, that assurance in my faith as well, to say this is something that I will be able to come out of. I remember being, pumped with, I think it was hydromophone plus fentanyl on the field to just keep the pain in check. But that ultimately didn't last for the most part. I was in pain for maybe a couple of hours till the surgeon came. Also, thinking about it as a family man, I've just had a kid. I left home thinking my son is just a month old. I'm going back home after playing soccer to spend, his first month with him, and all of that. And all of that, changed in a very quick time. I couldn't, afford to let my wife know, especially seeing that, she just had a child. Didn't want to add to that extra burden, but ultimately she needed to know. One thing I was thankful for in that process is being able to access quality healthcare, and it was prioritized.
The support from the club was great. Yeah, somebody came to see him, and I think he received a couple of calls from members of the club. And somebody also came to give him food, or is it pepper soup? Even though he doesn't take pepper soup, I was the one who took pepper soup. But the support was great. Yeah, the members were really concerned, and I'm aware that even when there was people were not coming, right? But I knew that he was receiving calls and he was always concerned. And he also mentioned to me that when he's not on the field, people are always asking after him. People are always checking up on him, right? Yeah, so I feel like the support was great. Although I sort of expected more people to come around to visit him, but I also understand that this is Canada and everybody has whatever is pursuing them.
DSA, maybe they should have a women football club where we can come and play our own ball too, because it seems like you men are having a lot more fun. And we want to have fun too as well. Because when my husband comes back, he's always, full of smiles. He has people to have conversations with. So I feel like it's actually fun. Even my son likes to go with him to go and watch him play ball. So I just feel like there's some energy in the room that we the wives would, I'm hoping I'm speaking for women when I say that, would like to be a part of. So maybe you organize like a DSC club for women where we can come and play ball.
I'll say one very important thing is people need to look at the big picture. Yes, it all started out as a soccer group, but it's evolving into something very special. We have our kids come out very early in the morning, with their dads, they come play. So we're building what we call, it's supposed to be generational. The idea is for it to be generational, not just about us right now, not just about those of us involved. People need to begin to see that working together as a team, working together as a community will take us a lot farther than working out there as individuals, and we're trying as much as possible to continue to send that message. So I'm super excited that we have a whole lot of new folks coming in. You have people who probably landed in Canada in the Durham region recently, and they're hearing about DSA, and they're coming out there and they're seeing that, oh, really, this exists, and they can take advantage of being in that community. And it's evolved even for those of us that have been involved with DSA for a very long time. Like I said, I have new family members, I have new friends, people I didn't know maybe 5-10 years ago, right?
Well, I would say as a final note, irrespective of your color, your race, wherever you come from, I think coming to Canada, either as an economic migrant or as a refugee, or however else you come as a student, I think there's always a need to have a sense of belonging, a sense of community. And it goes beyond just saying it. You actually have to be a participant. You have to participate. And for me, using myself as an example, I would say it makes sense to be part of a community because first and foremost, when it comes to health and fitness, it's very easy for you to maybe add weight, fall sick easily without any physical activity, because most times we are always in a many of us live sedentary lifestyles. We are always either sitting, standing in one position. We are really flexible. I think being able to know that every Saturday, even if you have been stiff or you have lived a sedentary life for the most part of the week, you can have something to look forward to on Saturdays. Even the kids who always want to run around with their parents and also play football, that helps. When it comes to social gatherings as well, it goes a long way to be able to say, you know what, you can tone it down a bit. You can say, you know what, aside from kicking the ball around, you can actually have friendly banters with people, eat and drink, network and stuff like that. Even also on our online platform, we have the opportunity of helping ourselves, sharing information about how we can get better, how we can get opportunities. Also we can always have banters amongst ourselves, competitions, just to keep that spirit alive. So, and I think that for everyone that comes to Canada, that is needed. Not only for your sanity, so that you know what, you are not alone, because Canada has that sense of making you feel as if you're on your own. But with having a sense of community, I think it helps things get better. It helps you to relax. It helps you to know that, you know what, there's something to look forward to every week, every day. And I think it helps also for longevity. And it also helps you to have less regrets about coming to Canada. So I think the mix of social life, sports, networking makes it worthwhile. And I think that for every immigrant, if you are not doing it, I'd advise that you get to it. You need a sense of community to avoid isolation and possibly depression.
To those that are watching, I mean, if you're part of DSA, if you're not part of DSA, I mean, what else do you need to hear? We've talked about all these. The point is that we're building a community here, and that's the most important thing. Community not just for ourselves, but you know, our kids. They are seeing themselves. They are growing together. It's something they're handing over to them that you can do this. You can work within a whole community. There are a lot of communities within Canada, right? And they do a lot of things communally. So we want to get to the point as a vision where DSA will be a community that people know within Durham, within Ontario, and hopefully within Canada.
I think one major thing that makes DSA Sports Club unique from other clubs is I think we've evolved. We are now a community, right? It's not just a soccer club anymore. So as a community, we look out for one another, right? Sometimes when you don't see people on the field for some weeks, you call them to know how they are doing and what is happening. Yeah, and I think I appreciate that because it makes us brothers, right? Also, when people are injured, you see other players, other members of the group, volunteering to help with some of the responsibilities and tasks, just to support the person and ensure that as a group, as a club, we are there for one another.
And community. So if you have really genuine organic communities that you can leverage and lean into on a consistent basis and use it to build your network, you should 100% take it. And this is what DSA has done for a lot of people, including myself. So from a mental health perspective, DSA has been immense in my life, and that's why I am always ready to provide my time and help whichever way I can.
Best foot forward, I ain't stressed. I go do my best, I leave the rest. I put my best foot forward, I am blessed. Hey, good mete, I am never. Masha good mete, I am never. Good mete, I am never. I do my best, I leave the rest. I put my best foot forward, I ain't stressed. I do my best, I leave the rest. I put my best foot forward, I am blessed. Hey, good mete, I am never. Listen, you only saw who I am.